Progress Racing presents Show Us Your Tips. Daggy and Beaver with you on the eve. Well, if we were on the doorstep of spring last week, the doorbell's well and truly being rung, Beaver. It's PB Lawrence Stakes Day at Caulfield, and the up-and-coming has been moved to Kembla, but we'll talk about that as well. How's lockdown life, and how was midweek racing?
Yeah, midweek racing was pretty good, Daggy. I think we had a pretty prosperous day, if I remember correctly, with some nice winners across the board. Started well with the first winner up in the north, Star Tontes, and continued to do back some winners throughout the day.
That was some sort of win too, Star Tontes. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it was a nice win.
But yeah, we flowed on all the way through the day and gearing up for spring. For those joining us, Daggy and Beaver are with you each and every week, twice a week for racing previews. We do our Saturday and midweek Wednesday previews for progressracing.com.au. Check them out for their free tips and extensive guides. But we are heading into the best part of our second year doing this now. Had a fair track record along the way. And on the eve of spring, I'm glad if you've joined us for the first time, and if you have been on board for a while, stick around and hopefully we'll find some winners. Let's head to Caulfield first, for the feature meeting, which is the rail is in the 8 metre mark at Caulfield, and it is a good track at both venues, which is nice to see, and some good horses are back. Any thoughts on how the track might play?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how the track would play. I was probably looking early on to play it a bit safe, and I was looking for horses on pace, Daggy, and probably look for something, the horses that finish on, play them a bit safer and maybe just save on those, but we'll see. And then the pattern may change throughout the day. Hard to know.
Yeah, I was thinking on pace is safest for today, so we'll see how it pans out, but I've treated it as a typical dry Caulfield where on pace is definitely no disadvantage. Or we kick off with the 1700 metre fillies and mares to start off. A few coming off some decent wins. How are you starting the day?
Yeah, I don't see too many chances in this race. Look, I've gone for So You Assume on the basis that it'll be in the lead or just off the pace. Its form these last 4 starts have been outstanding. Super impressive last start. Looks here to probably go forward, sit on the pace, if not be the pace, and will be the hardest to run past. So You Assume for me. Main danger, Lunar Flare, will get back in the field. Again, fairly consistent horse, but does get back and will be flashing home, suited by the 1700. So just depends how quick they do go up front and if there is enough pace on for it to come from back in the field.
Yeah, I was with you. Obviously, a mare coming off a win. It was pretty impressive. Had some favours there at Moonee Valley, but it's going quite well. So You Assume outside gate gives it no choice but to roll forward, and Dean Yendall won't mess around. And I found the same sort of danger, but gate 1 early, it's probably going to be buried back, and we'll need luck to be any chance. Sort of taking on Barbie's Fox, which was the other chance in the market. Just saying that midweek form isn't as strong as it's going to have to be a bit better than that to chase down So You Assume if it repeats what it did last start.
Correct.
Yeah. Race number 2 is a mile handicap where I thought there was a good thing here, and I tried to get it beat. I'll try to get it beat and couldn't, but I think High Stranger's the only concern. Is now 5th up, but it's flying. It's got the draws fine, and there's no chasers here. No, if it'll roll along in front, High Stranger will see off its back. It will take over about 150 out and win pretty impressively. I'd want to see something. You mentioned it first up. Dark Dream sort of sat at the back and did nothing first up. I'd like to see something from it to know if it's even with us anymore. But I think High Stranger might be a good thing here. How do you line them all up?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think High Stranger looks very hard to beat here. Looks a really strong bet. The race looks to set up nicely for it. As you said, no effort will probably bolt along. High Stranger will sit on its back and challenge. And particularly if it suits the on pace. The one I am interested in watching is Parade, first up. first up over 1600, does like a little bit of ground. So I'll be keen to see how fit it is, and if they again can finish on from back in the field and it's fresh enough, Parade could be the knockout chance, but High Stranger for me.
Yeah, interesting to see where Parade fits in. Probably something like a Moonee Valley Cap or one of those Friday night Moonee Valley features. Early spring might be the target there. But it did go through 4 states last time and was pretty competitive. So, yeah, it might be an interesting one to watch. Race number 3 over the 1100, benchmark 78. Is this any more interesting for you, Beaver?
Yeah, this is a pretty tough affair here. Open market and loads of chances. Look, I've come up with Dirty Thoughts.
Okay.
I thought it returned nicely up the straight at Flemington behind Kilcarney Royal and Space Boy, and then they took it to Morphettville in a pretty good race where the track was heavy and Bo Rosser just absolutely annihilated them. Not sure it was suited by the super heavy ground there. Prior to that, last prep, it had some really strong form around horses like Swats That at Moonee Valley. So for a race like this, I think it's a really, really big chance. It was in the market last start. I think it might have even been favourite at one stage. Drawn the 13 is a bit of a worry, so I'm not sure where it'll quite get to, but this isn't an overly difficult race. Plenty of chances, so I've gone for a bit of value there in Dirty Thoughts.
After last week where I found too many off paces and pack markers, I defaulted to the on pace here. I think Diamonds in the Sky will be better for the first up run. It just popped at about the 200. It held on okay once they started swamping. It doesn't go in the wet either, and now it's got a dry track. I think that's a tick as well. Will Price rides it quite well, and has beaten Rainbeal and has some decent form previous prep as well. I just think it'll roll along and be very hard to beat early day Caulfield. It's nothing wrong with rolling on in front. I had a couple looks at Second Slip, but the trial was a bit interesting. I know it was a heavy track, but it was ridden out and didn't really respond. It's got the big weight, so I ended up just steering a little bit away from that. So Diamonds in the Sky for me. But what you found with Dirty Thoughts is interesting because it did start equal favourite against Bo Rosser, and even though Bo Rosser owned it, you have to respect that, I suppose. The 1100 metre mares version is next, a smaller field, but I don't know if it's any easier. Al Pooney did beat Diamonds in the Sky Al Pooney Princess, I should say, did beat Diamonds in the Sky last start. But a couple of shorter than it. Bella Nepotina is in this. Apparently she won the Quizette. She's only 4. Feels like she's been around for 10 years. Who have you got on top here?
Yeah, I've gone for Paul's Regret. I think this is a really, really good show here. Look, Paul's Regret flies first up. It's had 4 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds. So that is a really good point to hear fresh. And if you go back to last preparation, it's had some really good form in some really quality races. I mean, it was tipped out after it finished back in the field behind Brooklyn Hustle. But prior to that, it was only 3 lengths off Instant Celebrity and Subpoenaed. I think that might have even been the Goodwood, was it?
Yes,
back in May. Prior to that, ran second at Caulfield behind Labour. Second behind Labour Ride. Prior to that, was only 2 lengths behind Chalet at Flemington over 1400, and then prior to that at Caulfield, where it ran 1.3 lengths behind Probabile. So look, that form is really, really good form for this. It goes well fresh, drawn well enough in gate 3. I think Paul's Regret's a very nice bet here.
Yeah, the last trial. I don't know what happened in the last trial. It was tailed out, but it just might not have been with us. But before that, did win a trial as well. So respect the talent there. I thought the other one here at the $7.50 was Plaquette. It beat La Mexicana. I know it had the rail there, but all honours. And then it beat Lady, what's his name, Miss Albania, who came out and bolted in last start. And I think the $7.50 was an easy enough way to have a bet as well. If you can get each way, it's a very comfortable bet from Paul's Regret, who you've mentioned. And I respect Bella Nipotina, but it's now in that sort of category. It's been around forever. It's going to be on pace, but I don't know if I want to have anything to do with it as favourite.
No, I'm the same. But there's six genuine chances here. Arapuni Princess was again, if the pace is on, it's got a great finish. So at $11, it's not the worst bet in the field either.
No, that's right. Race number 5 is the 1400 meter benchmark 84, where you're with Jumbo Ozaki last time. It is one of yours. It's one of your top of your stable lists. It did get a pretty good run and just missed last time. Are you sticking here?
Yeah, I am sticking here. Don't know enough about Elephant to take the price at the favourite as favourite. Jumbo Ozaki was very good last start behind King Magnus. King Magnus is flying. King Magnus probably should have, was held up last start and wasn't given, probably should have almost won that and had three or so wins on the trot. That's good form for me. When you run a close second, it's third up here. Gate 5, drawn to get the right run. Should be at its peak fitness and has enough form on the board. So Jumbo Ozaki for me, Elephant obviously untapped, don't know much about it. And similarly, around the $11, Mahashat Akti, or wherever you say
Bless you.
Number 13. Might be easier to say. Probably looking for a bit more ground. So just depending on... be interesting to watch how it finishes off its race. But no, Jumbo Ozaki for me could be just a bit too nippy here.
Yeah, I've got Elephant on top. I think it's a talented horse. They've sent it and I believe Rhinoceros over is the two stable stars there. But it hasn't beaten a lot, but it's rolled along on pace and been impressive enough. Damien Lane will take it to the front, and I guess we're going to find out what's under the bonnet here. But I just couldn't imagine him sending him over to not be better than 84 grade. So I was happy to start there. And its partner on the pace will be Imperial Lad, who's going to have the claim, the outside gate, so it'll roll forward as well. And it's around $11. Alana Kelly's riding pretty well at the moment. So when she's got one job to take to the front, I think it can roll along and give us a chance. And we'll see about Ozaki. I think I've just been a bit stung by it. It's in its last couple of preps, but it probably runs a place. I don't think there's a lot more depth other than that. So... maybe a chance to link up the horses we mentioned and have a result on the exotics there. The good races start at race 6, the Group 3 Vane for the boys, the 3-year-olds that are coming back. In previous years, this has been won by Our Playboy, Bivouac, Russian Revolution, Sepoy, Turek Toff and Star Spangled Banner. So it's a good horses race, Beaver. This, I don't think it's any exception. This is a good field. 4 genuine chances who I'm struggling to split. Can you split them?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit the same. There was 4 genuine chances here, and there are struggling to split. I kind of left Jigsaw out. Really liked its first up win, but I was a bit disappointed second up. Doesn't mean it can't win, but based on that, I just don't know. A bit worried about its class edge against the other 3. I did narrow it down to Ingratiating and General Bow. I think both of those are outstanding horses. I left out Generation just at this point. I thought Ingratiating's form. I've led to Ingratiating. I just think its form.
Well, that's clearly A grade, isn't it?
It's clearly A grade form. Finishing third in the slipper was a very nice run. And then prior to that, again, had good form against other good horses, has run a very nice race at Caulfield, finishing a close second behind Artorias. So it'll get around the track okay. First up, you're going to get a good side for your money.
Yeah, it's well, if you were to name the 5 Spruik 2-year-olds from last year, it's got form around all of them. Artorias, Stay Inside, Enthar, Royal at some point or another, slipper favourites or contenders, and it ran third in the slipper before it went out. The trialled away, it went up to Wyong, and it's trialled at home at Hawkesbury as well. Both were okay. They were fine. Definitely a contender. I think at the price is easy to take. I ultimately just took a set that the favourite was too short. I don't really think that generation form means much. I'm much happier as always to take the Sydney Carnival A-grade form. General Bow went into the Blue Diamond in the market. It didn't do anything wrong all through that first prep. And I'm forgiving Jigsaw. It was out of play as soon as the other horse took that lead and just burnt it and had to sit outside lead and chased a long way out and was never comfortable. But I'm thinking, this was it $6. What was ingratiating here? Let's have a look. $4 ingratiating, $6 Jigsaw. They're the two I'm sort of happy to look at here and happy to take on the favourite a little bit. But that might be the first egg on my face moment of the spring. We'll find out.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you.
Excellent. The Group 3 Quizette for the girls doesn't have the same honour roll, but last year was won by Bella Nipotina, whatever that means. But I really struggle with this. I can't give a tip here because I could. The only thing is I would say is I would give chances to number 2 Heresy and Scorched Earth, who are going to be both 20s and can both potentially be really talented horses. But Arcaded had A-grade form. Gimme Par, it has a big spruik around it and won chased Ingratiating first up and then had its win where it was ridden upside down second up. Najmati is trialled okay again off some very impressive first prep wins. Could you stamp any of these, or are you happy to see what happens?
Yeah, really hard to get a line on some of these. I was kind of looked for a little bit of value myself here, and I come up with high, just as a to spec. Won its very first start quite convincingly, and then stepped up into some really good quality races. One behind Profiteer, where Profiteer brained them, and then the start after that was behind 4 Moves Ahead. So pretty good racehorses there. And then after that, had a trial back in March, then was put out and brought back for a trial in July, which bolted in by 5 lengths. So obviously come back quite well. So I think it could be a knockout chance here.
Excellent. Yeah, very tough races. Even going through something like See You in Spring can run well off a trip to Queensland. You can keep going. So we will know more on Sunday than we will now, I suppose. The feature of the day is the Group 2 1400 metre PB Lawrence Stakes, where we've seen some very good horses resuming this race. Savatiano won it last year. Before that, Mystic Journey, Mourinho, and then Passance de Lune, Who Begot You, and Shootout all resumed in this race to go into spring campaigns. So I don't know if this is quite the epic clash it has been in the past, but how are you lining them up?
Yeah, pretty disappointing field, to be honest.
Yeah.
Got some, fairly probably average horses, that are well in the market here. You got the likes of Bester Days, around $7. Hard to catch him on, know what they're going to do. Sansom was good first up. I've gone for Superstorm, resuming here. Look, I think it's drawn well, assuming there's enough pace on. He'll sit back in the field and produce a really good finish in the end. Again, I'll just come off the back of last preparation form. Was outstanding without winning too many races, but was in much better quality races than this. It was racing the likes of Diamond Effort, Behemoth, Very Elegant, Mr. Quickie, Buffalo River, and Colette. So that's pretty good form for a race like this, to be in and around the mark of that. This is probably the weakest field he's faced in a fair amount of time. So I'm thinking Superstorm.
Absolutely no luck either. He just got...
And no luck either, that's right. So I'm expecting Oliver to give this, sort of sit middle of the pack, and hopefully it's fresh enough and got enough in the tank to blow past them in the last 100. So Superstorm for me. And knockout chance Sierra Sue. It bounced back to form last start. Nice to see, and potentially could follow that up.
Yeah, I end up finding the same horse. The trial, it's now over Denny O'Brien too, but the trial had just rolled along in front and bolted in. I didn't have to do a great deal, but fresh last prep, 1400 metre last prep, it was chasing Behemoth. I think I might have even tipped it that day to beat Behemoth, and it just was stuck in and never got out. complete forgive, but it comes here with fresh stables, had the prep in Melbourne. I think it's going to run really well. And I'm saying the other chance is Streets of Avalon, who's going to turn the tables on Samson, who just swooped and got at it. Will roll on pace, fitter for the first up run, and as the 2 Group 1s under its belt over the course and distance at Caulfield. Pretty keen that they might be the 2 best chances. And if when we get quaddy time, I wouldn't object to throwing Sierra Sue in just for a bit of value. And we wrap up the day with the 1,200 metre Regal Roller listed race, where our girl La Mexicana, apart from getting the money, didn't let us down last time. It'll be better here. I don't think this is much of a tougher field. And for me, I'll be jumping back on Jamie Carr, sticks on the gate suits. Jamie Carr put her right on the back of the leader and give her not much to do. And to me, the danger is outrageous, which is an outrageous price. It's $20. Well, I think it was $26 when I looked this afternoon. And it'll be going in my quaddie, and I'll be having something on it. And then the 2, I think that's about it for me. A little bit scared of a away game, but I think La Mexicana's a better horse, which is just a hunch. How are you finishing the day at Caulfield?
Yeah, I'm sticking with La Mexicana. I thought last start was an outstanding run. I didn't think it, given the run, I think it was 3 wide most of the way. And I just couldn't believe it got so close in the end. I kind of had it written off on the turn, and it just kept coming.
It only got done up the inside by Clet, who she wouldn't have seen. That would have.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing that ran third was sort of. That's right, Miss Albania
who bolted in last week.
Who bolted in last week. So look, La Mexicana is going to be super hard to beat here. Knockout Chance Pintoff's going great guns at the moment. So it could jump out of the ground.
Very good. For progroupracing.com.au, what's your best and value on PB Lawrence Stakes Day at Caulfield?
Yes, my best of the day is race 9, number 7, La Mexicana. Hard to go past. And my value bet of the day is race 7, number 9, High.
I like it. And I'll make my best race 2, number 4, High Stranger. And I'm going to make my value the last there. I've put La Mexicana top, but I think outrageous is an outrageous price at the 20s. I think you can run a hole at least at that price. In fact, we were on it at Melbourne Cup Day last year when it was the same price, and it did it pretty easy. Let's get to Kembla, the support program there, which has been moved from Rose Hill. Very interesting meeting. I need to first of all mention progroupracing.com.au again to fulfill our sponsorship obligations. Check them out for their free tips and extensive guides. But yeah, Kembla, the rail is in the 3. It's a good track. Typical Kembla's down the outside by the end of the day. Not so. The problem with this is this is a lead up to some proper racing, and the form coming in is not going to mean a lot because we're at Kembla, and the form going out is not going to mean a lot because it's Kembla form back to Randwick, probably Randwick the way COVID's going. So I'm not sure what we take out of this. I guess all we can do is try and find some winners on the day. As I said, running line, swoopers by the end of the day I'm thinking is the way to play. Highway kicks us off the 10 race card. Are you having anything to do with the Highway?
I was leaving the Highway alone, mate. I'll have a look at these ones go around.
That's fine with me.
Although I got a bit of a feeling that some of these races that I was doing the form, they all felt a bit like Highways.
They did. It started. It did start getting a bit tedious by the end of the card, but yes. We'll see how we go. Race 2 is the 1,200 metre benchmark 88, where I will. It's the old thing. Big Parade's back. We know we go for Big Parade. He trialled the same as Big Parade trials. If he turns up and he doesn't carry like a pork chop, he's probably going to roll along in front in a small field and win. If he doesn't, he's probably going to still roll along in front, and All Time Legend's going to win. So for the sake of a tip, I'm putting Big Parade on top. I think even despite the weight, Josh Powell take him straight to the front, and he's going to give you a sight. And main danger is Mamaragan.
Yeah, I think you've got it right there, Daggy, with race 2. The Big Parade again has tried well. and you're just a bit of a question mark on which big parade turns up on the day. But if the best big parade turns up, then it's probably a bit too nippy for these. It'll go to the front and be hard to run down, give you a bold sight. Probably was a little bit disappointed with all-time legend last start. Started odds on, had a good enough run to win that race, and just maybe its condition gave out a bit, but Chat went past it pretty easy. So, these two look to have it between them, but I'm leaning the way of Big Parade.
Race number 3 is the 2,000 metre handicap, which sees Ziegfeld out to 2,000 metres, third up in Australia. It was pretty good last start, and I'm thinking J-Mac goes on now, and it might be go time here. Happy to sort of back it. Muba is child since, and so is Lil but they're both... Lil now's gone to Grafton, been beaten, and Muba is, I don't know, we'll hit the line, but I'm thinking on pace, Ziegfeld is the one to beat at least. What have you said here?
Yeah, I think you might be right there. Ziegfeld does present well now, third up after a spell. In a field like this, if it's going to win a race, this would need to be it. But I am slightly concerned and worried about Muba. It's going well at the moment. They've freshened it up for this, and we know it'll run a good race. So if there is any chink in Ziegfeld's armour and it doesn't finish the race off, Muba will test it.
Race number 4 is the 1,200 metre benchmark 72. Mr. Mozart's down to resume both here and Caulfield. Have you seen where it's going?
No, I haven't. It's still in the market here, so probably won't know that till tomorrow.
I think, or just for the record, actually, if it's down at Caulfield, it probably puts Jigsaw out of play in that other 3-odd race, which I didn't mention. But I was happy to actually have a spec here. It's not generally for me to do it, but number 7 Tokoma was ultra impressive at Gosford, I thought. Before that was super green and threw a race away on debut. He's brought it to town here and just has a nice turn of foot, and I think this isn't a King of Sparta's a little bit disappointing last time, and I was back in grade, and there's not a lot else here, and I think maybe about $8.50 it can give you a decent sight for your money, drawn in the right part of the track. What do you think?
Yeah, interesting race here. The one you've tipped also accepted for the next race, where it's favourite. So it'll be interesting which race it does start in. I went for the resumer in Bacchanalia from the Cummings stable. Look, I think it's trialled really well for this. Wasn't extended in Hawkesbury. But its form last preparation was good. I think its first start last preparation finished 6th at Caulfield in a race won by General Bow, which we've talked about earlier, which is in one of the big races there tomorrow or Saturday. And then came to Canterbury, broke its maiden status, and then went to the Black Opal, which it wasn't disgraced around the double figure odds, and only finished a couple of lengths off the likes of Kalishnikov. Look, its trial suggested that it could come back and win a race of this nature first up, and around the $6 mark, I think it's worth a play.
The Midway is race number 5, benchmark 72 as usual, where if Tokoma is here, I will be backing it, and I'll be pretty keen. If not, I'm not really sure. All I can say is just looking through the market, this is a wide open one. Usually I like these midways, but this is a wide open one. Something like Mystery Doble at 20s I could back. Something like Hibiscus Lady at 50s I could back. But and Bowery Breeze around $9. Yeah, so if the favourite's out, I will probably play outside the market. If it's in, I'm pretty keen. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking Bowery Breeze. If that's the case, look, it's been freshened for this, has really good fresh form. Its first up, where it won in June, was a nice win over Van Geers, and then ran a very nice trial, went to the line with Private Eye, which is a good quality horse. Look, obviously had a few little issues with this horse, but they're persisting with it and maybe keeping it fresh is the trick. So drawing the one gates should be able to position up and give a good bold sight here.
Well, fresh wins over Zing and Van Giz both read pretty well for this race, don't they? So
Yep.
Maybe I will hone in a bit better there should Tosca Tokamar come out. 2,000 metre benchmark 78 is race number 6. What a gala affair this is. How are you lining them all up?
Yeah, look, I didn't really like a lot of the form here, so I went for the overseas horse that's only had the one start at Sale, Mayfair Spirit.
Okay.
Look, it's got reasonable form in Great Britain over a bit of ground. Resumed very nicely at Sale over 1,600. Finished less than half a length behind Ed of the Throne and Warsfolds. Ed of the Throne won yesterday in a midweek. Finished that race off really nicely, hit the line hard. Again, Mara and Eustace, they keep bobbing up at the moment, and this horse could be running over the top of them. It's not a tough affair, $7. Look out.
I went to Katea, $15 here. I know on paper disappointing last time, but absolutely buffeted being the widest runner at Kensington. Before that was a Saturday winner. It's $15. It's got the outside gate at this time of the day, and I'm happy to back again at that price. Crystal Pegasus was outside lead chasing and then just got nabbed by Wicklow, who is a reasonable enough horse, and I think will run well again. And Zing's $10 and was just given no chance last time. It goes Brock Ryan to Hugh Bowman, and I think will run better out to the 2,000. They're the three I was looking at, but definitely respect Mayfair Spirit as well when we get to quarter time, which we didn't do at Caulfield. Now I've just remembered, but not much beyond that in this race. Race number 7 does start the aforementioned quaddie, where it is the spring preview over the 1,400 metres. Do you like anything?
Very tricky affair, this one, with a number of reasonable chances in this. I got it down to 3 horses, and I've ended up with going order again. It's an ultra consistent horse, won nicely last start. I think he can back it up. Drawn the one gates, can get the right run in transit here with Tom Sherry aboard. Look, it'll finish in the finish. It'll figure in the finish, rarely out of a place. So I expect it to be super hard to beat here. Oscar Zulu was in great form, disappointed last start, freshened up for this. I think it'll run a better race than what it did last time. And so both the Waller horses there. And then as a knockout chance around the double figure odds, the resuming Cephas. I think it could be a knockout chance again if they're running on. Obviously looking for a bit further than this, but keen to see how it performs first up.
You took all the words right out of my mouth. Oscar Zulu freshened up off that rail. It was the rails Randwick day as well, where it was back and last, and you couldn't win unless you're on the rails. And Cepheus has had a couple of nice trials here from coming over from from Deauville, France, somewhere there.
France, yeah.
Yeah, the French horse. I think they'll both run really well, and Order against the obvious class. I think there's only 3 chances. I think fun fact first up will roll along and be a bunny for all 3 of them. Yeah, sort of keen to bet actually. Race number 8, but I'm usually keen to bet Beaver, as you know. Race number 8 is is a Group 3.
This is true. That's why we're here, mate.
Exactly. Over the 1,300 metres for the 3-year-olds, where we see the 2 that butted heads a number of times up in Queensland, Tiger and Relay and Subterranean resume against some other horses here. Are you with the Queensland form, Beaver, which we covered pretty well?
Yeah, I've gone for Tiger of Malay here. I think its form up in Queensland was good enough for a race like this at Kembla Grange, and I expect it to return in good order and be the hardest to beat in this race.
Yeah, not much to add. He's booked J-Mac first up as well. This is coming off Group 1 stuff. They're talking about Converge for a Cox Plate, which I'll believe when I see, but that is decent enough stuff here. And if you like it, Subterranean did have that win over it where I still don't know. Sorry, it did beat Ranch Hand. I don't know how. That was when we were on Ranch Hand, and then chased home a couple of times. But keen enough. Tiger Malay is the best horse, and this probably be an easy watch. I don't know where it heads. I'm assuming Golden Rose and whatnot down the road. But this is a weird race, and I've got a feeling the big stables have dodged this to try and get to look for a lead up at Randwick for those Group 1s, but because not a strong race apart from that. So Tiger Malay are one of the better bets on the program. The 1400 metre benchmark 78 is race number 9. Do you have any idea here?
No idea. Absolutely no idea. I thought the highway might be easier.
It might be easier. I've got Steel Diamond on top, only because it was off the fence on the fence day. I think Dry Might Suit and Nash. That was just some reasoning I came up with. I could have maybe found a Glorious Dream, but went against it because of the gate and because of the jockey. So just for the sake of a tip, Steel Diamond, but very little confidence for that.
Yeah, I did the same. The Ruella Waller combination I liked, and the fact is Steel Diamond has got some really good form at this track. It's had 3 starts, 2 wins in a second, and therefore for me, and its recent form, it's will sit midfield, 4th up, and the last 2 starts have been on heavy, which probably hasn't totally suited it. So willing to forgive a little bit of that, and maybe it is the horse to back, but yeah.
Let's finish the day with the 1400 metre benchmark 78. Does this get any easier?
Yeah, no, not really. Not much easier at all. Again, almost a highway, midway, whatever you want to call them. I landed on Rule the World.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it finished off first up really nicely. I know it was 6 of 8, but it only finished 2 lengths off the lead, and I think it did record the fastest last 400 in the race. So, look, got away a bit slow, and then had to do too much late. Look, it'll be charging home at the end here. This isn't a strong field, but it's an open field with plenty of chances. Yeah, it's kind of the way I led. Probably someone like Cordia that started favourite last start was really disappointing. Always worries me when they get out to nearly $10. They sometimes show up after being last start favourite, but Rule the World for me.
Yeah, there's probably 3 chances. I can't say I'm especially keen and all, but Olympic Legend is going well enough and honest, but just doesn't win. I end up coming back to Blondeau, and I'm not overly confident about it. But by this time of the day, the draw suits. It's off a win, and I think this is actually a bit weaker than what it's been taking on. Is there any confidence in that? No, because it's Blondeau. So what does it all mean? At least Cuban Royale's going well enough. And look, Pale King's fresh. Tommy Berry, maybe there's some intent there, but it is coming off Sandown midweek and can't charge in there. So I guess we haven't finished today with a great deal of confidence, but a couple of chances.
Probably the 2 worst races of the day for the last 2, which is disappointing.
For progretracing.com.au, do you have a best and value at Kembla?
I do have a best and value. My best bet of the day, and now I've just lost him. Race 8, number 1, Tiger of Malay. Thought it was going to be hardest to beat. And then my value bet of the day was race 6, number 4, Mayfair Spirit.
Very good. I've got an alternate one here. If Tokomo runs in a midway, I think it's the best. If it doesn't, I think it's value. And Katea at $15, I'm pretty keen, will run a place at least at $15 in that race. It will make that, I guess, my best and value, however you want to put those 2 together. We need to do quaddies or we'll get roused on. Do you want to do the Kembla quaddie or do you want to do the Caulfield quaddie?
You tell me, mate. Both ready to go.
We'll fire away at Kembla. Go on. You can, just because I'm looking at it.
No worries. Okay, cool. So Kembla.
That's how I remember.
I'm going to go.
Fun anyway.
That's not what she says.
No.
Number 1, 6, 9. That's it.
Yeah, I'm
First
happy.
leg.
Happy to leave Frosty out.
Yeah, happy to take it on. In the next race, I like numbers 1. There's a few knockout chances, so I'll go numbers 1, 2, and 4.
Yep. What about blue
And
colours
the
there?
third,
Brigantine off the win. It has Populous couldn't get to the bend on Wednesday, so Publicus, sorry.
no, 1, 2, 4.
Publicist.
1, 2, 4.
Yep.
I'm going to sit with that. In the third leg, tricky race there. We're going to go numbers 1, 2, 3, 6, and 9.
Yep.
And to finish the day, we're going to go number 2, 3, 6, and 13.
Are you taking on Pale King as well? Okay.
Yep, taking on Pale King as well.
Very good. So I'll head down for the record, head down to Caulfield, and we'll put together a quaddy there as well. Race, first leg, we'll go 1, 3, and 4 and 5. If Mr. Mozart's there, I'm happy to leave Jigsaw out. So just play that either way. The second leg, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. Third leg, 2 and 4, Streets of Avalon and Superstorm. Nonconformist as a knockout. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay? All right. Sierra Sue? We'll put Sierra Sue in.
Sierra Sue.
Sierra Sue. So 2, 4, and 10. And we'll come home with 3 away game, 4 outrageous, 7 La Mexicana, and 10 Pintoff. 9 and 10. We'll throw Zoo Dancer in as well. So
Zoo Dancer out. We're going to done.
What about Crosshaven at 20s? Just to throw in at you.
No.
Right.
No.
Let's,
Too many combinations, mate. We've got to keep it simple.
All right. I'm happy to go 7 and 4 if you want to strip down. That's fine. All right. The King in the North. Just quickly, I'll do Morpheville very quickly. The top way to win the first, second, and third there. But very excited to see Behemoth take on Bo Rossa. What a race number 6, at Morpheville. Looking forward to that because that'll be a big lead to the spring. Behemoth back and taking on a good up-and-comer. So excited to see that. What have you got up north for us for the punters?
So what were your tips there? Sorry, mate.
Races 1, 2, and 3, number 1 at Morpheville. And then...
That's scratched in race 1.
Is it really? Hang on, I just looked at it.
Yeah, race 1, number 1 scratched.
Oh, race 1, number 3, sorry. And then Ali Boom will roll along and be hard to beat. And then I think Mahi's Angel will make it 3 in a row.
Yeah.
You're right. And, so let's head up north. Eagle Farm is back on. Have you got anything up there?
Yeah, I've got a couple of tips up at Eagle Farm there. I've got race 1, number 1, Glorious Ruby. I think it'll be hard to beat. My next tip came up a little bit later in the day, I think. I'm just trying to find it here as I scroll through. Race 4, number 3, Profit. I think it'll be hard to beat. And then my next best comes up in race 8, number 3, Pepe Le Few.
Very good, mate. So for Beaver, the King in the North there, and for Daggy, this has been Progrit Racing. Show us your tips. Good luck this weekend, punters, and we will see you all Tuesday night for our midweek preview. Take care and good punting.